Someone needs to go. Because otherwise it's a traffic jam.
Yeah, I know. You're right.
Distinguished guests and friends of Franklin and Marshall College, our ceremony is set to begin. Please find your seats. Please rise for the academic procession, marked by the tolling of the Old Main Bell. Entering the institutional delegates. Now entering members of the Franklin and Marshall faculty. Now entering members of the Franklin and Marshall Board of Trustees. welcome members of the Platform Party.
Welcome, members of the F&M community, students, parents, and families, alumni, faculty and professional staff, board of trustees, administration, honored guests, members of the Lancaster community, and friends. Welcome to the investiture ceremony for Franklin and Marshall College's 17th president, Andrew Rich. You may be seated. Thank you for gathering this special day. To begin the ceremony, I invite Director of Faith and Meaning, Joe Pritchett, to lead us in a moment of gratitude.
Amidst the significance and celebration of this day, we pause for gratitude. We are grateful for this community, for its history, and for its people, including the indigenous peoples whose presence and history endure: the Susquehannock, Lenape, Nanticoke, Piscataway, Seneca, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Shawnee. We give thanks for all that has led to this moment, for those who have guided and shaped this institution over time, and for the new chapter already unfolding in our midst. We give thanks for all those gathered today, whose presence demonstrates a shared commitment to one another, to Franklin and Marshall, and to our president, Andy Rich. As we gather to mark the investiture of Franklin and Marshall College's 17th president, I ask these things. May President Rich be granted wisdom and clarity of vision, steadiness in times of challenge, and courage to lead with integrity and compassion. May he be a good steward of the minds and hearts of those who learn here and of this historic college. And may the F&M community under his leadership continue to be a place of transformation and growth, of learning and belonging, where the human dignity of each person is honored and where all may realize their full potential to impact the world. Amen.
All rise as you are able for the singing of the national anthem, led by Frankie Halvey, a biology and public health major with a minor in theater from the class of 2028 and accompanied by the F&M Orchestra.
Stripes and bright stars.
Please join me in welcoming Chair of the Franklin and Marshall College Board of Trustees, Eric Knoll, class of 1983, and parent of the class of 2009.
Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, it is my highest honor to welcome you to the investiture of Andy Rich as the 17th president of Franklin and Marshall College. An investiture ceremony is a formal academic tradition that marks the official installation of a new president. It is ceremonial, rooted in long-standing traditions of higher education, and symbolic, representing a significant milestone in the history of the college. As witnesses to this important occasion, we are pleased to recognize and welcome several distinguished guests joining us today. We extend our appreciation to our honored community leaders, including Lancaster City Mayor, the Honorable Jaime Arroyo, and Lancaster City Councilor Nancy Milan, and from the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, the Honorable Keith Greiner, 43rd Legislative District, Nikki Rivera, the 96th District, and Ishmael Smith Wade L., the 49th District. In keeping with academic tradition, we are proud to recognize the delegates joining us from more than 40 colleges and universities. We are especially pleased to acknowledge our colleagues from the fellow Lancaster institutions, including President Daniel Wuba of Millersville University, President Tommy Kiedis of Lancaster Bible College, President Andy Barnes of the Pennsylvania College of Art and Design, and Executive Vice President for College Advancement, Pamela Smith, representing Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology. We are honored to recognize the past leadership of Franklin and Marshall, whose transformative contributions to the college we continue to build upon today. Please join me in welcoming Franklin and Marshall's 15th and 16th presidents, Daniel Porterfield and Barbara Altman. Also joining us today is Drew Spalding and his wife Jane. Drew is the son of Keith Spalding, the 11th president of the college. It's especially heartwarming for me because I was in the last graduating class of Keith Spalding's. We are so pleased to have the Spalding family represented here today. We also welcome our former chairs of the Franklin and Marshall Board of Trustees, Sue Washburn, class of 1973, Dr. Lawrence Bonchek, parent of class of 1991 and grandparent of 2028, as well as all former trustees and trustees emeriti who have joined us to take part in this special occasion. I'd like to extend my thanks to my fellow members of the Franklin and Marshall Board of Trustees. Selecting a president who embodies Franklin and Marshall's mission is one of the board's most significant responsibilities and is essential to the college's continued success. I am proud to stand as the board's representative today in recognition of our unanimous appointment of President Andy Rich. Finally, it is a personal pleasure to welcome members of President Rich's family. We are delighted to have with us his parents, Nancy and Daniel Rich, his sister Jennifer and her family, Curtis, Emma, and Aiden, and finally, we extend a warm welcome to Joel Allen, Andy's husband and partner, and now a valued member of the Franklin and Marshall community. Thank you all. We are grateful for your presence and honored that you are here to take part in this shared experience. An investiture is more than an academic tradition. It's a celebration of community, bringing together the college, the city of Lancaster, and the broader higher education community in shared pride and purpose. In that spirit, today's ceremony will include greetings and reflections from members of the F&M community and beyond, and together we offer our collective support for the formal installation of Andy as president of the college. To introduce our president and initiate the community greetings, I'm pleased to welcome Akbar Hussein to the podium. A member of Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's cabinet, Akbar is a proud Franklin and Marshall alum of the class of 2013, a fellow F&M board member, and a man who knew President Rich long before Franklin and Marshall's search for its next president. Andy met Akbar when he was selected as the first ever Truman Scholar from Franklin and Marshall College in 2012. At that time, Andy was the head of the Truman Foundation, and Akbar won an award from Truman that supported his graduate education. In fact, Akbar actually worked for Andy for a year after college. Akbar, I invite you to share your greetings with President Rich.
Woo. Thank you so much, Chairman Knoll. It is truly an honor to be back here at Franklin Marshall College, a place that shaped not only my career, but my sense of purpose, my friendships, and it even helped find me the love of my life. Dr. Lisa Yosevitz, class of 2012, who's here somewhere, and I can't seem to find her. There she is. I've known Lisa and I have known each other for over 15 years now, and one thing you'll always realize is clearly it's Dr. Rich's inauguration, but I heard a lot of woos when Joel's name was mentioned. So I've gotten pretty used to that as over the last 15 years, but I'm really thankful for this college for obviously a lot of things, but I'm very, very thankful for Lisa and everything else that this college has done. Also wanted to welcome some really important people, not just to the college, but to my life as well. Two of those people you've heard about before from Chairman Knoll, and obviously they're here as two of our former leaders, without whom we would not be here, without whom the work that Andy takes on for the next tens of decades would not be here. Dr. Barbara Altman and Dr. Dan Porterfield. Thank you for being here. Now, I also want to welcome and thank one of my former bosses who's also here, Joe Lee, who recently joined the administration for Dr. Andy Rich, but he was also, before this, the Deputy Chief of Staff for Governor Josh Shapiro, and somehow decided that he wanted to leave that world and wanted to come work here. That's the power of Dr. Andy Rich. So Joe, thank you for everything you've done and for being here today. Now for the main event. I've known Dr. Rich for over a decade now, and I've learned a lot from Dr. Rich in my time. One of the things I've learned is that I need to call him Andy, not Dr. Rich. So I'm going to try to do that in the next few minutes. But I've learned a lot of inadvertent lessons that he has taught me, and I wanted to share 3 of them very quickly so that you all don't fall asleep. Lesson number 1 that I learned from Dr. Rich was the importance of a blue shirt. I don't know if you've seen those slides that went by before everyone came in, but somehow he's always wearing a blue shirt. When I first met Dr. Rich, it was through the Truman Foundation. He was leading the foundation, and there's a whole crew of Truman Scholars who have joined us here today, right back there. I especially want to shout out Tara and Tanya, who worked with me back at the foundation, and Dr. Rich, who are here, and Terry Babcock-Loomish, who's actually leading the foundation now. Thank you for being here today. And also, you can start selecting more Franklin Marshall Scholars. That would be great. So when I started working for Dr. Rich, I thought he was the coolest guy in Washington. he would be meeting with some of the most important people in our society, from CEOs to senators to cabinet members, and I had the privilege to join him in a lot of these meetings. Every morning, I would come into work, and his schedule would obviously be different because he would be meeting with different people. But one thing never changed. Somehow, every day, he found a different shade of a blue shirt that he would wear to work. I know you guys thought I was gonna say he had this passion for changing the world and the people, but no, the one thing that I noticed as this young kid was that he would always wear a blue shirt. And I had all of these ideas in my head for why he wore those blue shirts. Maybe, just maybe, he cared about those blue-collar workers and he wanted to stick it to those white-collar DC folks. Or blue is a powerful color, and he wanted to exert his dominance when he walked into one of these rooms with these important people. So, as somebody who admired Dr. Andy Rich, I remember calling my then girlfriend, now wife, Lisa, and telling her I needed to go shopping. And soon my entire wardrobe also took a turn for the blue. Even today, I'm wearing a blue shirt. So imagine my surprise a decade later when I found out there was no profound wisdom behind Dr. Rich wearing these blue shirts. It just happened that having the same color shirt meant he had to make one less decision in the morning. And blue just happened to be a nice color that looks good with all different colors of suits. So Andy, thank you for inspiring my wardrobe and for helping me think through how we're gonna change the world through a blue shirt. Lesson number 2 that Andy taught me was network, network, and network some more. One of the most important lessons Andy taught me was that every new introduction is an opportunity. Any new person you meet is an opportunity for new ideas, new collaborations, new friendships, and maybe even a new job. Andy lived that lesson to the core. For those of you who think, no, there's no way Andy's that calculating, there's no way he's that shallow, I'd like, for those individuals, I'd like you to consider this. Andy networked his way to this job. Not at a fancy fundraiser in DC, not at a conference. He networked his way to this job at my wedding. Now, obviously I'd like to take a lot of credit for that, but the main credit goes to my wonderful wife, who was the reason behind Andy sitting next to another wonderful Franklin Marshall College alum, Susan Clare, who at that time, Susan at that time was leading the presidential search, and somehow they were seated right next to each other. Lisa saw something in that pairing that no one else saw. Andy saw an opportunity, and he ran with it. And Susan saw the immense talent that we were about to recruit, and she went with it. And as a result of all of that, we are here today to celebrate Andy. So thank you, Susan. Thank you, Lisa, for your leadership in bringing Andy here today. And just to be clear, Lisa and I did not charge the college any type of money for the recruiting services. In fact, we paid for that wedding dinner. So you're welcome. All right, lesson number 3. Andy taught me to be a humble employee. Andy taught me the important lesson that doing good work and staying humble are the foundation of long-term success. People notice, Andy told me, consistency, reliability, and effort, even when it seems like no one is watching. Humility keeps you open to feedback, while hard work builds trust and credibility. More than a decade ago, there was a time when Andy was my boss. I would regularly go to him with my assignments. He challenged my thinking and frankly guided my early development into who I am today. Now, why do I share this very simple, particular lesson here? Well, it's a quick reminder to Andy that the tables have turned, my friend. Today, I take a lot of joy in affirming that Andy gets to call me his boss. And it's also a good reminder for him of the lesson he taught me very early on, to be a humble employee. But all jokes aside, listen, not much has changed from decades ago when Andy first hired me. I still go to Andy as one of my biggest voices in the back of my head, as one of my most trusted friends. I still go to Andy with tough questions and tough life decisions. This full circle moment speaks to something special about this institution. F&M is a place where relationships endure, where mentorships evolve into partnerships, and where the people who shape and build you remain with you, even after you have left campus. I stand before you as a kid who was born in a small remote village in Bangladesh. Today, I am the highest ranking Muslim official, not only in Governor Shapiro's cabinet, but in the history of Pennsylvania. And thank you. And while this chapter of history is still being written, I know for a fact one thing is for sure. I would not be where I am today without the mission of an institution like Franklin and Marshall College, and without the heart of people like Andy Rich. So Andy, you embody the very best of what F&M stands for. You are thoughtful, you are principled, and deeply committed to the students. And you're just self-aware enough to laugh at my bad jokes. As you begin this new chapter, I have no doubt that you will lead with integrity, vision, and yes, excellent, true blue fashion. We are very, very proud of you, Andy. Welcome to the team. Go Debs.
Please welcome the 44th Mayor of the City of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, the Honorable Jamie Arroyo, to share greetings on behalf of the Lancaster community.
Good morning. It is a great honor to join the Franklin and Marshall community for your inauguration, President Rich. My name is Jamie Arroyo. I am Lancaster's first Latino mayor. Its first mayor of color, and the son of parents who left Ponce, Puerto Rico to come to Lancaster to invest in a better life for their young family. When I thought about what I wanted to say about you, several things came to mind. But what strikes me as one of your best qualities so far, President Rich, Andy, is that just like my parents, you look to invest deeply in people, the places and the undertakings you choose to do. It is a quality I am inspired by and a philosophy I stand by too. President Rich, you have shown you are investing in the F&M community from day one and since the day you stepped into your position. Your Commonwealth commitment started a ripple effect around Pennsylvania's liberal arts colleges, ensuring PA students have access to great educational opportunities, no matter their income level. You've had countless sit-down meetings with students, alumni, Lancaster community members, and leaders because you want Lancaster to know that F&M isn't an institution in a bubble, but one that is in the partnership with the city and its neighbors. Through your leadership, we've already seen an increased investment from students, from the Diplomatic Congress attending city council meetings to sports teams organizing weekly community cleanups. F&M students are investing in the Lancaster City community more than ever. They are following the leadership and investment that they see from you. The gift that I brought you today is a painting of a tree by fourth-year F&M student Hannah Telesnik. And we chose Hannah not just because she's an F&M student, but because she is a much better artist than I am. So you're welcome. This painting represents an investment the city has made on your behalf. We've planted a Pennsylvania hawthorn sapling in Buchanan Park, adding to the already flourishing arboretum F&M is known for. Hannah's painting is a symbol of what the hawthorn will look like in maturity and in full bloom. Thank you for your investment and continued partnership in Lancaster, and we are thrilled that you are part of the community. Thank you, Andy.
Please welcome Debbie Murray Martin, a member of the class of 1972, who brings greetings on behalf of the alumni community. Debbie is retired Associate Secretary of the Board of Trustees and Director of Protocol and Events at Franklin and Marshall College. She is also the chair of the presidential inauguration.
I am honored to bring you greetings today from our alumni body, 30,000 strong and representing over 100 countries around the world. I stand before you as a proud member of the class of 1972, graduating just 1 year before the fully co-educational class crossed the stage in 1973, of which our trustee Sue Washburn is a member. We like to think of ourselves as the preview edition, working out the kinks so the class of 73 and beyond could really shine. Today, I also offer a very heartfelt nod of gratitude to President Spalding and the college's Board of Trustees for their visionary decision to admit women in the fall of 1969. And it's hard to admit, but that was 57 years ago. That decision changed lives, including mine, and made this institution stronger in every possible way. And I'm delighted that Keith's family, Drew and Jane, are with us today. I come from a long, long blue line of connection to this institution as a third-generation diplomat, following my grandfather, class of 1916, my father, class of 1947, and my uncle, Herb Poole, also an educator himself, who instilled in me a great love of learning and history, and he is watching today on live stream. It was a particular honor for me to become the first woman in the college's history to be inducted into the Livonian Society at our 50th class reunion, and I proudly wear that pin today. Although our alumni extend to all parts of the globe and work in every imaginable field, we are united in the respect that we share for this great college and in the educational gift we have received as its alumni. To you, Andy Rich, we pledge our loyalty and enthusiasm and energy as we work to enhance this college and its national renown. But beyond representing our alumni, I wear several other hats. I wear a hat for Lancaster, our rich and beautiful community, where my roots run 8 generations deep, and we are truly fortunate to call this such a vibrant and historic city our home, where the ties that have existed between the city and the college have always been strong, and I'm confident will only continue to grow under Andy's leadership. I wear a hat for the college's staff, administration, and retirees, where I've had the privilege of serving for over 30 years as an administrator and 7 years as a retiree, although those closest to me would say that I didn't quite understand the word retire in retirement. I have worked alongside 5 presidents, which I'm thrilled to see Barbara and Dan in the audience, as well as several interim leaders, with a special nod to Eric Knoll, who was our interim, as well as our dedicated Board of Trustees. The professional staff spans a wide variety of offices and roles across campus, but we share a unified goal: to create a community that instills genuine, enduring love of learning. To you, Andy, the professional staff pledges an enthusiastic commitment to enhancing the college for the students now and for the students in generations to come. All these hats, worn as one, Lancastrian, administrator, alumni, retiree, come together in partnership to form what we know and love as Franklin and Marshall. With all of us here today and beyond, the Lancaster community, F&M families and friends, the F&M colleagues and students here today, I see the past, the present, and the future of this extraordinary place. President Andy Rich, you represent that future, and we are honored to be a part of it. We believe in you, and we stand with you. And so with great pride, and yes, one more hat, it is my privilege to present this to you as you are officially invested as the 17th president of Franklin and Marshall College.
Please welcome Chair of Faculty Council, College Marshal, and Professor of Mathematics, Barbara Nimmersheim, to offer greetings on behalf of the F&M faculty.
President Rich, I'm honored to welcome you to F&M on behalf of the faculty, a faculty celebrated for excellence in research, scholarship, and creative expression. Like you, we are deeply committed to liberal arts education, committed to finding innovative ways to teach our students to read, write, and think critically, committed to providing a foundation from which they can explore and understand the natural, social, and cultural worlds in which they live, committed to nurturing their intellect, creativity, and love for learning. We offer living, learning, and leadership experiences in our classrooms, in our offices, in labs, libraries, studios, field sites, theaters, in Lancaster City and the surrounding community. We are dedicated advisors and mentors. Our students matter to us, and we are proud of our service to them and to the college. The faculty is excited to welcome President Rich, a man who exemplifies so many of the values we cherish. He comes from the Colin Powell School, where he generated investments in scholarships and in initiatives that provide students with mentoring and professional development. President Rich, you have already proven yourself to be a champion for students and their success, and we look forward to working together toward our shared goals. You've been here long enough to have seen the faculty's dedication to doing important work. You've probably also seen that the faculty does not have a single agreed-upon approach to solving problems. We're diverse in our experience, in our interests, in our expertise. So you can count on us to bring our own perspectives, our own specialized tools. It's like the faculty is a multi-tool. And that is our gift for you on this special day. It's a 20-in-1, and it was Wirecutter's budget pick, too, so. So we hope this multi-tool reminds you that the faculty is here to help in a wide variety of ways. We look forward to meeting the challenges of this moment with you. Welcome and congratulations.
Please welcome Student Government and Diplomatic Congress President Caroline Regal, a mathematics major and a member of the class of 2026, who offers greetings on behalf of the student body.
Hello, everybody. My name is Caroline Regal, and I have the honor to speak today on behalf of the students of Franklin and Marshall College. At F&M, students are the center of campus life. Our curiosity drives the classroom, our energy fills campus events, and our relationships create the sense of community that makes F&M feel like home. Each of us contributes to the life of this college, shaping what it means to be part of this community every day. President Rich, in your time here so far, we have seen leadership that is deeply committed to being visible and present within this community. Your leadership has joined us not only in moments of grandeur and celebration, but in the everyday rhythms of life here at F&M. We recognize that your role often calls you beyond campus to build relationships, to strengthen the college's future, and to carry the story of F&M outward. But what matters most to us is that no matter where you are, your leadership remains grounded in the here and now alongside the student body. To mark this occasion, we are pleased to present you with this clock. This clock represents the time you will spend as president, but more importantly, the time you choose to spend with students. It is a reminder that your presence at games, in conversations, and in the daily life of this campus shapes our experience in lasting ways. May it remind you that while your responsibilities may take you far from campus, the students of F&M are always here, ready to welcome you back, to learn with you, and to be part of the future you are helping to lead. President Rich, welcome. We are thrilled to have you here.
Now, please welcome Tom Foley, President of the Association of Independent Colleges and Universities of Pennsylvania, and class of 2011 parent of Franklin and Marshall College, to offer greetings on behalf of the community of the Pennsylvania Independent Colleges.
Good afternoon, almost. Thank you all for inviting us to welcome your new president on this beautiful rendition of a spring day. Thank you for inviting us to an institution so dedicated to protecting and promoting liberal arts education that encourages students to be curious, lifelong learners, and that develops citizens who embrace the idea of community. Thank you for providing the ground for young people to grow into themselves, to launch into this world, chaotic as it may be, steadied by the virtues and the confidence with which they leave this place. I love the quote in Bonchek College House, quote, "The most formidable weapon against errors of every kind is reason," unquote. Though perhaps we might update it for this age, that a sense of community and a sense of purpose is the best answer to the chaos of a fragmented era. I know all of this firsthand because our youngest son and our daughter-in-law, married to our oldest son, are proud diplomats. I have seen the transformational power of this place, and we are grateful to all of you, presidents, faculty, staff, maintenance workers, librarians, dining hall staff, public safety officers, all of you who make this a welcoming and empowering community. So we begin with those two powerful words: thank you. We welcome you, Andy, President Rich, to the Pennsylvania higher ed community. As president of ACUP and on behalf of your 83 fellow independent nonprofit college presidents in this state, it is my honor to officially welcome you as the president of F&M. 2 F&M presidents have chaired this organization, including our chair emeritus and your president emeritus, the always kind Dr. Barbara Altman. President Rich, your dedication to teaching, to scholarship, to community service, and to student development made you an excellent choice to assume this presidency. I personally think the most important qualification you bring to this job is the dynamic of your personal story, hands-on experience at a signature, historic American public institution, the City College of New York, and a deep personal commitment to practical mentorship that advances students in community, at work, and in life. So on behalf of those independent nonprofit schools in Pennsylvania, on behalf of the 4 actual F&M alums in our immediate family, we welcome Andy, and we assure the F&M community that you are all in very good hands. He understands the value of higher education in a very personal way, and we have absolutely no doubt that your new president will do great things for this college. The philosopher Aldous Huxley wrote that most human beings have an almost infinite capacity for taking things for granted, unquote. You have chosen a president who is an exception that proves the rule. Andy understands and appreciates his own good fortune, and if he forgets, Akbar just reminded him, and each step it took for him to get to this place. He is also acutely aware of the needs of those upon whom fortune has not always been so kind. He won't take your successes for granted, and he will be there to lift you up when life doesn't work out quite as you planned. President Rich, we thank you for coming to Pennsylvania, to Lancaster, and to Franklin and Marshall College. Welcome.
Please welcome Daniel Rich. Dr. Rich is University Professor of Public Policy Emeritus at University of Delaware, where he was both Dean and Provost for many years. But today, Dr. Rich joins the celebration in another role, as Andy's dad.
Good morning. Good morning. I am indeed the father of F&M's humble presidential employee. I bring greetings from Andy's entire family to the F&M community. We are proud that Andy has become the president of one of the nation's finest liberal arts college, all the more so because we are a family of educators. And for me, this is very special. After more than 50 years working in higher education, it has special meaning and a privilege to take part in my son's inauguration. So thank you for allowing that to happen. So Andy's mother and I have to confess we're delighted about all this for another reason. And that's because we live just down the road in Newark, Delaware, which is where Andy grew up. So it feels like he's coming home. And we're surely glad to have him nearby home. But in that spirit, I thought I'd share with you some glimpses of the boy who grew up to be a college president. Now, I assure you that these are items you will not find in his CV. Don't bother looking. So Andy's higher education journey began when he was just 6 months old. That's when I joined the faculty of the University of Delaware. And his first experience on campus was at the university's preschool. His teacher told us that when a little girl spilled her juice, Andy told her not to worry and helped her clean it up. Early networking? I think not. But his teacher said it showed remarkable empathy for a 3-year-old, and his mother and I thought it was a promising sign for the future. His interest in school also appeared early. His kindergarten teacher said that when she handed out the first worksheet, Andy, with crayon in hand, exclaimed, "This is what I've been waiting for." We suspected then that school might suit him. And it did. He became a very good student, but his early ambitions leaned more towards entrepreneurship than academics. At 9, he asked for a filing cabinet and a cash register for Christmas. He explained that both were essential for his future businesses. Okay. His first business venture was delivering the Wilmington News Journal. He rode his bike through heat and cold with steady determination, and his early morning greetings were something that several of our neighbors told us they were very pleased to receive. So as parents, we were very enthusiastic supporters of his business venture, except on snowy Sunday mornings when he woke me at 4 a.m. to help him deliver what felt like 2 tons of newspapers. Growing up on the edge of the University of Delaware campus, Andy and his sister Jennifer regarded it as something of a neighborhood park, biked through it almost every day, and the college campus felt natural to him back then, and it still does today. In high school, you remember, think back, Andy worked at the Friendly's ice cream shop. He started as a dishwasher. He worked his way up to the grill and to scooping ice cream. A few years in at Friendly's, he led a team to the Friendly's Olympics, a regional grilling competition in Philadelphia. Alas, they finished second. Andy maintains they would have won if a teammate hadn't dropped the hamburger bun. There's a leadership lesson in that. Prepare for every eventuality. Every summer, our family visited grandparents in Missouri, and Andy's grandfather owned a small dairy, and Andy loved riding along with him in the milk truck, but that's really when he developed his love of ice cream. So here's some inside scoop. Sorry. If you ever want to earn Andy's favor, ice cream is a winning strategy. In 1984, our family lived in Scotland during my sabbatical, and Andy and Jennifer attended the local school, an eye-opening experience to be sure. Baked beans on toast was the typical lunch fare, and it took many months to understand the Glaswegian dialect. One day, Andy came home. He was frustrated. He had tried unsuccessfully to correct his teacher, who insisted the United States had only 48 states. He learned that being right doesn't always win the day. Another day, he came home covered head to toe in mud. The classmates at his school had decided that this very tall American belonged in the middle of the rugby scrum. Andy declared that day that his rugby career was over. Back at Newark High School, he played trombone in the marching band and the jazz band, developed a real interest in civic life. He volunteered for a U.S. Senate campaign led by a UD professor with bold ideas. The candidate lost. But the experience sparked Andy's curiosity about how American politics and government could work better. And he's still working on that problem. When it was time for college, Andy thought F&M was a little too close to home. So he chose the University of Richmond, where he thrived in a liberal arts environment. And that experience set him up on a path that eventually led to a PhD in Yale and a career that started as a faculty member at another liberal arts college, Wake Forest. But before he went to graduate school, he worked as the driver for Delaware's only congressman. We only have one. Tom Carper. And one night, after a very long session, legislative session in D.C., Andy called to say he'd be driving the entire Delaware delegation home at 2 a.m. That was Carper and Senator William Roth and another senator named Joe Biden. So his mother gasped, told him to drink 5 cups of coffee, stay awake on the road. She stayed awake, worried, until Andy got home, and he reported that all his passengers simply slept the whole way home. So he took that as a sign that he had earned their trust and confidence. Well, over the past 20 years, Nancy and I have watched Andy take on many meaningful leadership roles. At the Roosevelt Institute, at the Truman Foundation, at the Colin Powell School, always focused on helping young people become leaders and on using knowledge to improve public policy and enhance people's lives. He approached each of these roles with energy and creativity and a determination to strengthen the institution he served. But Nancy and I want to tell you that we have never seen him as excited or as deeply committed as he is now. Everything before this feels like preparation to serve as president of Franklin and Marshall College. This is the role he was meant to embrace, and he brings to it all that he has learned along the way. Thank you.
Please welcome Susan Klein-Clare, Senior Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees, member of the class of 1973, and parent of the class of 2012.
Hello, everybody. I had the distinct honor of serving as the chair of the Presidential Search Committee, if you heard, that led us to Andy Rich. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the extraordinary dedication of that search committee, made up of several of my fellow board members, members of faculty, members of staff, and members of the student body. Thank you for your service and dedication to a successful search, and as we celebrate today, the installation of our next president. Of all my volunteer roles at F&M, this role in particular has been my immense privilege and honor. I actually, as you heard, first met Andy at the wedding of two F&M alumni, Akbar Hussein and his partner Lisa Yosevitz, class of 2012. For 2 evenings, Andy and I were seated at the same table, and we immediately discovered our mutual shared interest in higher education. We talked about the challenges institutions are facing at this time. I mentioned that F&M was about to conduct a search for the next president, and I expressed my fear of not being able to get a robust candidate pool because I said, who in their right mind would want to be a college president today? Of course, once you meet Andy, you are quick to realize that not only is he in his right mind, with clarity of purpose and strong ideas, but his optimism for higher education and his enthusiasm for young leaders and the impact they will make on the world is contagious. Throughout a highly competitive search, Andy stood out as a candidate who will build upon F&M's tradition of excellence and keep us moving toward our highest aspirations. The Board of Trustees unanimously and enthusiastically approved the Presidential Search Committee's recommendation to appoint Andy as F&M's 17th president. And now it is my great privilege to invite President Andrew Rich to step forward. You're getting a big applause. You're getting a big applause. President Rich, I am honored to recognize you with the symbolic bestowal of your presidential regalia. The robes you now wear are a gift from the college, a garment uniquely yours that connects you to centuries of academic tradition. While standard doctoral robes display 3 velvet bars, your robe features a 4 chevron on the sleeves, a distinction reserved exclusively for the president as the head of the institution, as well as the monograms of the F&M College Seal and Lux Alex motto. This robe represents the significance of your office and the confidence your community has in your ability to fulfill your role with excellence. Whenever you wear the regalia, may you be reminded of this moment in which you officially join the legacy of this great college. We move now to the installation. In the life of a college, an installation is a moment when the authority of the institution is officially transferred and the president is formally seated in the office in which he or she has been called upon. I now welcome Eric Knoll, Chair of the Board of Trustees, to join us for the formal installation and conferral of the presidential honor. Oh, there you are.
Thank you, Susan, for your leadership. It is now my honor to present Andrew Rich with the Franklin and Marshall College Presidential Medallion. Together with the academic robe, the medallion serves as the primary symbol of the president's role of the leader of the college. As noted in the program, the medallion bears the official seal of the college and the motto Lux et Lex, meaning light in law in Latin. This seal reflects the community's trust in the president to carry forward Franklin and Marshall's mission. Originally presented at the investiture of Franklin and Marshall's 9th president, Frederick DeWolf Bowman, the 69-year tradition continues to serve as a tangible representation of the office during all formal academic occasions. We now present Andrew Rich with the Franklin and Marshall Medallion. By virtue of the authority vested in me as the chair of the Board of Trustees, I declare you, Andrew Rich, to be the 17th president of Franklin and Marshall College.
Please rise and celebrate and welcome the 17th president of Franklin and Marshall College, Andrew Rich. You may be seated.
Well, good afternoon. It's not easy to follow your father. Members of the Board of Trustees, distinguished faculty and staff, extraordinary students, devoted alumni, honored guests, friends, and the people of Lancaster, thank you for being here. I am absolutely thrilled to be the 17th president of Franklin and Marshall College. This is a special day for me. In fact, you know, it's unforgettable. It's not every day that hundreds of people come together to celebrate me. And I honestly want to thank all of the speakers for their incredibly kind words and for their very thoughtful gifts. Mayor Arroyo, Barbara, Caroline, Debbie, Tom, and of course, Akbar. Thank you. Eric and Susan, thank you for this honor. Thank you for hiring me. And I also want to thank Matt Deschamps, who is our soon-to-be board chair, and I'm excited to work with you and with the whole board on the next chapter of our college. It is a big day for me, but most of all today is a very special day for Franklin and Marshall College, a day when we celebrate this institution, its history, its place in higher education and here in Lancaster, and most importantly, its people, so many of whom are gathered in the room here. As I begin, I want to thank the people whose shoes I am trying to fill. We're joined today by Barbara Altman and Dan Porterfield, and I want to invite them to stand and be recognized. Barbara and Dan, I want to thank you both for your exceptional leadership of Franklin and Marshall College over the past 15 years. And I've also had the great privilege of getting to know both John Fry and Dick Needler, both of whom are out of the country today. All four have been architects of what makes this college so special, one of the finest liberal arts colleges in the nation. And all four have become friends and mentors. So thank you very much. I want to thank Debbie Martin, Lindsay Snyder, Latasha Dexter, and everyone at this college who has been involved in planning this weekend. Inaugurations and investitures, they're kind of funny things. If you're lucky, as an institution, you don't have to do them very often. but they take a whole lot of work to pull off well, and we could not have done it without so many people from across the campus. So my thanks to everyone who has been involved, and especially to Debbie, to Lindsay, and to Latasha. I am honored to have dozens of friends and family here today, former colleagues, longtime mentors, and I'm really humbled to see all of you and so glad you're here. And on a personal front, as I begin, I want to acknowledge just a few people who are so special to me. First off, my parents, Dan and Nancy Rich. Thank you for giving me curiosity. Thank you for giving me confidence and a model for a purpose-driven life. My dad, who you just heard, is not just a good speaker. He's also been my most important role model. He's been an award-winning professor, a transformative administrator, and really the best person I know, except for my mom. Everything that is right about how I approach this work has their fingerprints on it. And I think my parents, I think my sister, Jennifer, my niece and nephew, Emma and Aiden, and my whole family for being here and for supporting me. And then there's my husband, Joel Allen. 31 years of partnership, honest counsel, and unwavering love and support. Joel is the smartest and the funniest and the most caring person I know, and he has always had my back. His judgment is exceptional, nearly perfect, in fact, with one inexplicable exception: his decision to attend Duke. He remains completely unrepentant. So, friends, I stand before you today filled with humility, with deep gratitude, and genuine, unshakable optimism about what lies ahead for Franklin and Marshall College. My life's journey began in Newark, Delaware, as you heard from my dad, just more than an hour from here. Growing up, my family used to make the drive up to Lancaster, to Dutch Wonderland, which seemed considerably larger when I was 6 years old. Lancaster stuck with me. This region, this city, this corner of Pennsylvania has a quality I couldn't quite name as a child, but came to understand over time. It is a place where people build connections that matter, where they stay, they invest, and enrich their community. I am, at my core, a product of the liberal arts. I went to a liberal arts college, and I began my professional life as a faculty member at one, teaching, mentoring, and learning alongside students. That experience shaped everything that has come after, and the thread running through my career, from classroom to administration, is a single conviction: that developing the next generation of leaders is the most consequential work a person can do. I have never encountered an institution that does that work better than Franklin and Marshall College. That is why I am so proud to become a diplomat. F&M's story is remarkable, and it is top of mind for me as we consider our future. 239 years ago, and in the aftermath of a revolution, a group of leaders decided that Lancaster, Pennsylvania deserved something extraordinary. On June 6, 1787, just weeks before delegates in Philadelphia would sign the United States Constitution, Franklin College received its charter. Among its founders were 4 signers of the Declaration of Independence, 4 members of the Constitutional Convention, and 3 future governors of Pennsylvania. Benjamin Franklin himself chose to invest in this place and in this community. What did they build? The first bilingual college in the nation, teaching in English and in German, serving the Pennsylvania Dutch community. The first college to welcome women in its first class. A school born not of exclusion, but of radical inclusion. Even if at the time the initial commitment to gender equity was short-lived, and we would later need to renew that. Franklin College struggled. In 1789, barely 2 years in, it fell into debt. Enrollment dwindled. There were moments when the experiment seemed likely to collapse, and yet they did not quit. The community found a way. Then came Marshall College, founded in 1836 in Mercersburg under the belief, and I love this, that harmony between knowledge and will is necessary to create a well-rounded person. That phrase is not an abstraction, it is a philosophy. That what you know must be joined to what you are willing to do. In 1853, the two colleges merged on a hill that was once Lancaster's site of public executions, Gallows Hill, about a quarter-mile behind us. At the laying of the cornerstone for Old Main, the building that today houses the president's office, a pastor named Henry Harbaugh looked out over the city and declared, quote, "Thank God, the college stands higher than the jail. Education should be lifted up and let crime sink to the lowest depths." This institution was built literally and figuratively on higher ground. That is our inheritance, and that is our obligation. We will continue to fulfill that obligation with unflinching determination. There is no doubt that this is a difficult and turbulent time for higher education, and F&M is not immune to the pressures or to the uncertainties. But I also know that every generation of this college has faced its test, and every generation has risen to it, and we will too. World War I gutted enrollments. Franklin and Marshall restored its strength by launching the first two professionally oriented majors, one in education and the other in economics and business. The latter grew the college's enrollment by 20% in 1 year. The Second World War restructured campus life entirely. In the aftermath, F&M adapted by creating graduate programs, offering night classes, and establishing partnerships with local companies, including Armstrong and RCA. The college grew again. 1969, after 182 years as an all-male institution, Franklin and Marshall became co-educational, a change that required a willingness to challenge long-standing tradition. Today, nobody looks back and wishes it had been otherwise. Through the civil rights movement, the upheaval of the Vietnam War, the demands of students who insisted that education be preparation for citizenship and conscience, not merely career, this college listened, and it grew by realizing change was necessary and by innovating. The requirements and opportunities for change and innovation never stop, and they never will. Recently, when questions of affordability made it clear that too many deserving students could not see a path to F&M, we did not look away. Last fall, we launched the Commonwealth Commitment. So Pennsylvania residents with household incomes below $75,000 now attend F&M tuition-free. That program is a true declaration of our values and our determination to keep an F&M education accessible to all students who can benefit. Our college knows how to navigate difficulties and turn them into opportunities. We have a history of perseverance. We've done hard things before, and we will do what is needed now to position F&M to thrive. Over Thanksgiving break in 2024, as the presidential search was underway, Joel and I were visiting my parents in Newark, and we decided we'd drive up to campus when it was quiet. We wanted to feel this place on its own terms. And what struck me, walking across campus on that chilly November weekend, were the alumni banners. If you've walked our campus, you really can't miss them. They're everywhere. And each tells the story of a graduate who did something remarkable. So I read them. Dick Winters, class of 1941, commander of Easy Company, 506th Infantry Regiment, 101st Airborne Division, whose leadership on D-Day became the stuff of history. The kind of leader who never asked his men to do anything he wasn't willing to do first. Franklin Schaffner, class of 1942, who won the Academy Award for Best Director for Patton and gave the world Planet of the Apes, a storyteller who shaped American cinema. Wanda Austin, class of 1971, who arrived at F&M as one of only 20 black students in a school of nearly 2,000, earned a degree in mathematics and went on to become the first woman and the first black president and CEO of the Aerospace Corporation, one of the nation's leading architects of national security space programs. She served on President Obama's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology and was elected to the National Academy of Engineering. And Mary Shapiro, class of 1977, and here with us today. Mary Shapiro became the first woman to chair the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, appointed by presidents of both parties, someone who has spent her career making markets fairer and more accountable, and the environment cleaner and more sustainable for everyone. Thank you, Mary. Standing among those banners, I recognized that F&M is a place that produces leaders in every field. Scientists, public servants, entrepreneurs, artists, people who step forward, people who create, people who do hard things and important things and leave an unforgettable legacy. This is who we are, and that is who our students will keep becoming. This is the core of our mission, and sustaining it is my most fundamental responsibility as president, something I embrace with enthusiasm and with a true determination. So how shall we proceed? The world our students will inherit, it's moving faster than ever before. Artificial intelligence is reshaping entire industries, and it's reshaping jobs and careers. Climate change is reordering economies. Democratic institutions face historic pressures. In the changing world, it seems clear that the demand is not for people who can follow established maps, but for people who can draw new ones. And that recognition is what convinces me that Franklin and Marshall is made for this moment. Our college is uniquely well positioned to develop exactly the people that our changing world requires. 9-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio enables us to provide our students with the attention and creative opportunities to explore, to innovate, and to excel. Our residential community means that learning never fully stops. Our campus is a place that values broad-based and deep education, and one that is expert in AI and other fast-moving technologies. Our city is itself a story of creativity and reinvention. We are, in the spirit of Benjamin Franklin, built for creating new maps for the future and solutions in the service of the public good. My vision for the college is animated by a single conviction, that the liberal arts, practiced boldly, are the most creative, innovative, and radical education a young person can receive. It's not because they teach you what to think, but because they teach you how to think and how to see the world beyond established boundaries. That's the quality that I see in F&M graduates. I noticed it most recently in Nicholas Rios, a 2023 F&M grad who's an analyst at Goldman Sachs in Dallas. Nicholas was the first in his family to finish college. Originally from Philadelphia, he'd never heard of Goldman Sachs when he started at F&M. But when he left here, he had a job in one of the most prestigious financial firms in the world, and not because he memorized formulas, but because he learned how to navigate complexity, to ask better questions, and to see further ahead. We're going to build on those foundations, and we will expand on them. We will experiment. Some things that we try will be spectacular successes, and some will not work. And that is not a failure. That is a college that is alive with innovation. Today, I'm excited to announce plans for a new Curiosity Center at F&M, a dedicated space to help students, especially as they arrive, discover what genuinely drives them, what questions they just can't stop asking, what problems they want to solve, how they want to focus their studies and their lives, because a great F&M education must begin with questions and self-examination. We're going to pair the Curiosity Center with state-of-the-art career services that meet this moment. We will choreograph a smooth, frictionless handoff of every student from curiosity to careers, to a career center that is dynamic and that is alumni-powered, using our networks, connecting every student to F&M graduates who are leaders in their fields and who want to open doors. In between curiosity and career, students will learn to think, to communicate, to challenge ideas and each other. They will make new discoveries and discover new knowledge. Innovation is central to another new initiative, the soon-to-launch Melman Leadership and Performance Institute, made possible by the extraordinary generosity of Ken Melman, class of 1988, who is with us today. This is an institute that will be a hub where students practice risk-taking, resilience, and recovery from setbacks. The Institute will bring together faculty, alumni, Lancaster community partners, and experts in performance science to help our students build the capacities to become the great leaders in whatever field they choose to pursue. Central to the Institute and important to F&M's future are new programs in entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship at Franklin and Marshall, it's not a department, it's not an elective, it is a mindset. It is one that cuts across every discipline and every student experience on this campus. We're going to expand the infrastructure to train and support entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial thinking at F&M. It is a conviction that you do not have to wait for someone else to solve a problem. You can identify it, you can build something, and you can try. And athletics and the arts are central to F&M's next chapter. Both are places where students become creative and resourceful leaders. Both teach skills that no class discussion can fully convey. On the playing field, the mat, and the court, our diplomats learn to compete hard and to lose graciously, to trust teammates with things that genuinely matter, to push past what they thought was their limit, and to come back the day after a defeat. These are not peripheral skills. They are the skills of a successful life. And in our theaters, studios, and performance halls, students learn to take creative risks, to communicate with precision and power, to inhabit perspectives that are not their own, and to move an audience. That too is leadership. This year, thanks to the largest gift to athletics in F&M's history, we're building the Mellman Center for Strength Conditioning, Wellness, and Performance. It signals something important, that athletic excellence and academic excellence are not in tension. They reinforce each other. We will invest in our diplomats and the coaching staff that mentors them and the culture that surrounds them. And we will make sure the arts receive the same care and commitment. On this front, I am pleased to announce that in 2027, we will inaugurate the James Lapine Theater at F&M. It will be the transformed Green Room Theater with state-of-the-art technology dedicated to theater and dance. James Lapine is another remarkable F&M story. Class of 1971, author and director of dozens of Broadway plays and musicals, including many written with Stephen Sondheim, including Into the Woods and Sunday in the Park with George. James says that F&M is where he learned to write. And the James Lapine Theater will exhibit his Tony Awards and Pulitzer Prize and tell the story of his life. The arts and athletics are keystones of the F&M experience, and we will treat them that way. So now I want to just take a moment to speak for a minute directly to the students who are here today, and thank you for being here. You are not bystanders at F&M. You are not passengers on someone else's train. You don't just show up and wait to be taught or get handed someone else's map for where you should be headed. You are F&M. You are the reason this college exists. You are among its most important architects, and you are the creative energy that keeps this college moving, innovating, and achieving. F&M is rigorous, and it is fun. It is a place where students work and play hard, and you engage. You don't sit on the bench. You get into the game to become leaders on the field, on the court, in the lab, and on the stage. That is the F&M way, and it applies to every dimension of this college. Preparing you as leaders is at the core of our mission. And to quote one of my mentors, General Colin Powell, leadership is solving problems. Great leaders are almost always great simplifiers who can cut through argument, debate, and doubt to offer a solution everyone can understand. Students, this is my pledge to you. We will support you and encourage you as thinkers, as citizens, as entrepreneurs, and then students, we will be asking you to lead. We will create regular, informal pathways for student voices to shape this institution. Push us, challenge us, tell us when something is not working. This is an invitation to be problem solvers and simplifiers, to be co-creators of a college that truly belongs to you. The city of Lancaster surrounds us, and it is not simply a backdrop for campus life. It is a partner, it's a teacher, and a responsibility. Lancaster is a city that has defied every prediction, a manufacturing and agricultural hub that has become one of the most dynamic, diverse, and entrepreneurial small cities in America. It is a city that has welcomed immigrants and refugees, that has reimagined its own economy, that has built a downtown that hums with possibility, and we are very lucky to be here. Our Ware Institute for Civic Engagement is already a model for how a college can connect its students to a community in meaningful, mutually beneficial ways. Students who participate with Ware learn, serve, and contribute, not to pad a resume, but because the opportunities in Lancaster are extraordinary, and our students want to help to make it better. I pledge to deepen our partnership with Lancaster. I look forward to working with the city's leaders, its nonprofits, its businesses, and its neighborhoods to expand and strengthen our institutional connections. I'm excited to be active and supportive as a neighbor, a collaborator, a partner in contributing all the things that make this incredible city flourish. And Lancaster, I know, has a lot to teach me and all of us at F&M. The ingenuity, grit, and diverse perspectives of this community make us a better institution. Lancaster and F&M will keep getting stronger together, and that's exciting. Now, let me be direct about the promise I'm making, not in the abstract, but to each of you specifically. To our students, you're going to see a lot of me, and I will listen, and my door is open. I will advocate for your well-being, your development, and the future that has every resource and ounce of my energy attached to it. To our faculty, you are the intellectual core of this institution. Your scholarship, your teaching, and your mentorship are what make Franklin and Marshall worth attending. I will champion academic freedom, invest in your teaching and research, and strive to ensure the conditions here will enable you to do your very best work. I want to take a moment to introduce someone special to me who is here today, and that is Dan Palazzolo. Dan, I wonder if you might stand up. There he is. So, Dan Palazzolo taught me as an undergraduate when I was a political science major at the University of Richmond. He, at that time, was a brand new professor, and I took every course he offered. I couldn't get enough. He showed me a level of mentorship, intellectual seriousness, and genuine care that I have spent my entire career trying to emulate. So, Dr. Palazzolo, this guy is the reason that I believe a single great teacher can change the trajectory of a life. Thank you. We have many of these life-changing teachers at Franklin and Marshall College, and I will work every day to support you. To our professional staff, you are the connective tissue of this college. In residence halls, dining, admissions, facilities, financial aid, athletics, every corner of campus. This is not background work. It is essential work, and you will be seen and heard as partners in creating F&M's future. To our alumni, you are proof of this institution's promise. I want to deepen our relationship, not simply to ask for financial support, though that does matter, but to invite you into the intellectual and to the civic life of this campus. Come mentor, come teach, come challenge us. We need you, and your leadership will make us a stronger and more powerful place. To the leaders and to our neighbors in Lancaster, I extend my hand. I want Franklin and Marshall to be the best neighbor this city could ever have. We want to help Lancaster in every way we can and build something wonderful together for Lancaster and for the education of our students. I'll be at your tables, and I ask that you be at ours. And to our Board of Trustees, thank you for your confidence, and thank you for your partnership in this endeavor. We will make F&M stronger and even more successful in its mission, and I'm excited to do that together with all of you. So we return at the end to that hill. When the founders chose Gallows Hill for Old Main, the highest point in Lancaster, they were being deliberate. They were saying, let the work of education be lifted above what is base narrow, and fearful. Let it stand on higher ground. That is our work still. In a world of accelerating division, we teach the habit of free and open speech and genuine dialogue. In a world of narrowing attention, we cultivate depth. In a world that values scale above all, we invest in the individual student, the individual mind, the individual life, and trust that investing in each one compounds into something extraordinary. The best of Franklin and Marshall College is not behind us, but in the future that together we are shaping right now. And we will judge our progress, as F&M always has, by the success of our students. We will recognize progress in the student who arrives next fall as the first in her family to attend college, here because of the Commonwealth commitment. We'll see it, as we already have, in the athlete who discovers on the field that a growth mindset is not a poster slogan, but a daily discipline. And we will see it in the student who walks into the new Curiosity Center not quite knowing what she wants, and walks out with a direction that shapes the rest of her life. And we already see models for our progress in graduates, like Akbar Hussein, who arrived as a student with talent, will, and a belief that education could change everything. He was right. This college was right to believe in him. We will keep believing in students like Akbar. I grew up driving past Dutch Wonderland thinking Lancaster was a magical place. I was right. I just didn't know at the time that the most magical thing about it was this college and the people who give it life. I am so proud to be here. I'm so grateful for this trust, and I am ready and eager to give all that I have to work side by side with all of you on achieving even greater success for F&M in the years ahead. Thank you.
We invite everyone to remain standing for the singing of the Franklin and Marshall College alma mater, performed by the F&M College Chorus and Chamber Singers.
As sons and daughters true.
You may be seated. Thank you, college chorus and chamber singers, and your choral conductor, William Wright, Senior Teaching Professor of Music and Associate Chair. Thank you for that beautiful rendition of the Alma Mater. We also extend our thanks to Brian Norcross, Senior Director of Senior Director of Instrumental Music in the Franklin and Marshall Orchestra, which I guess I didn't have to tell you, but I am. Thank you for specially composed pieces performed today. They were written by Professor Norcross in celebration of the orchestra's 40th season and in honor of this inauguration. So please join me one more time in thanking today's musical performers. And let's thank all who contributed to this celebration. As we conclude today's investiture ceremony, please join me in one more enthusiastic round of applause and celebration for our new president. We invite you to please join us in continued celebration at a community lunch reception directly following the ceremony. It is now my honor to invite President Andrew Rich to lead the platform party in the recessional as we conclude today's ceremony. During the academic recessional, we ask all guests to remain seated. The ceremony will officially conclude with the tolling of the Old Main Bell, a cherished symbol of tradition and a new beginning at F&M. Thank you once again for joining us on this special day.
guests are warmly invited to join President Andrew Rich for the lunch reception. Please enjoy this opportunity to connect, celebrate, engage with members of the Franklin and Marshall community.
Back for tonight. See you at 7. Hey, the first movement of Sibelius was great. Put the national anthem in your folder.